So if that situation does not get resolved, look for Trent Williams, the best left tackle in all of football, possibly on the move as well. So there's a lot to look at with what's going on, and we will keep our eyes on all the movement in free agency here today.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what teams would trade for Trent Williams, because I believe he was projected to also possibly be released. And when you hear that teams might release a player and then they're open to trading him, teams are kind of reluctant to move into a trade for a player, because if you're just going to release him, why would we trade something for him? We'll just wait around. And if he doesn't want to play for the 49ers anymore, we'll just wait and see if you're going to end up if you can't trade for him, we'll just wait for you to release him. It happened with the Chicago Bears and Tremaine Edmonds. They said, go find a trade. They weren't able to. And then later this past weekend, they ended up releasing him. And now he's a free agent to go sign, or will be a free agent once the league year starts, to go sign wherever he wants to. And that seems to be what teams will do. Someone could have traded for Tua Tagovailoa if they wanted to. There was no market for him. So the Dolphins had no other choice but to just release him. The only option of what they could have done with his money is either eat all of the money this year, all $99 million in 1 year, or split it up, which is what they've chosen to do, over 2 years. They're going to eat about 60 some odd million dollars this year, and the other percentage of that, I'm not a math wizard, next year. And I believe, Chris, that they should be eating all of it this year. To me, the wrong move is waiting and having 40 some odd million dollars or whatever, 30 some odd million dollars on the books next year, because
it's also making a statement.
Yeah.
So it's a very expensive statement for the Miami Dolphins to make, eating all of that money with releasing Tua Tagovailoa. But it's also because I think the one thing you have to consider with that situation is they want a fresh start overall with everything, coaching staff, GM, everyone. So if you move off of all those players, earlier today they traded Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Jets as well. So the Miami Dolphins are clearly clearing space, starting new. They're going to be very bad this upcoming season, with the expectation that there's going to be some good quarterbacks in next year's draft that they're going to go after. So I get it. It is a statement being made by the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I just think that if you're going to start over with a new quarterback next season, if they're marching for Arch, or if whatever we're going to rhyme Dante Moore with, that they should be clearing their books and go into it the way the Tennessee...
Score for more?
Well, no, because you don't want to score. Like, that's the thing, is you don't want to score.
Okay.
So you're not trying...
Don't
score for more, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, you want to go in the way the Tennessee Titans are going in this year. The Tennessee Titans are going in with close to $100 million in cap space to spend however they want to today. And so the Dolphins could be doing that, but they're going to be saddled with whatever's left over from this Tua Tagovailoa money contract next season. Free up all the money, be as bad as possible this year, and do that and free up yourself for next season.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join us, or you can text us today, you can call us at 310-840-4910. Here's the latest from ESPN. Free agent wide receiver Alec Pierce is returning to the Colts with a 4-year, $116 million deal. So that is a situation where the Colts get their top wide receiver to pair with Daniel Jones, a decision that the Colts have decided to go down. And this is also... the Indianapolis Colts are set up now to try and compete to make the playoffs and to make a run at the Super Bowl after the trade that they made last offseason for Sauce Gardner. So they get Pierce back in the mix for the Colts, one of the best free agent wide receivers on the market.
Yeah, he started in 14 games last year. He had 1,003 yards, the exact to the yards of A.J. Brown last year, which is interesting. And he only had 6 touchdowns, which he had a few concussion issues last year as well. So he seemed to be the highest profile free agent wide receiver, and is obviously taking advantage of that with the contract. A.J. Brown is the most prized trade option out there, and if you're not going to give up draft picks for A.J. Brown, this is what you're going with. Alec Pierce also rumored with the New England Patriots. They obviously didn't get him, but Alec Pierce stays in Indianapolis with presumably Daniel Jones, who signed the transition tag, so other teams can make an offer for him, but I doubt anybody will. So he's probably staying in Indianapolis. So it's going to be Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce as that combination for the Colts. And yeah, you said to try to win a Super Bowl. we'll see. I don't know what else they have there besides those two, but it seems like that's it. And if Alec Pierce can come off those concussions and get more than 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, I don't know if that's money's worth 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns to me is not worth that much money. It doesn't seem like a reasonable contract, but it's the market that's out there.
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing. The cap went up over $300 million this year. And when you're one of the best guys that's available, that's what you're going to get. And that's what you're going to see. The market dictates what's out there. And that's the market. Alec Pierce was the best free agent out there. That's what he's going to get.
Well, it's a little rich. And now if you're a team that needs a wide receiver, do you call Philly? And do you say, hey, what do you want for A.J. Brown? Because like Abdalla's listing off there, 4 years, 116 for Alec Pierce, and you're saying that the numbers are comparable to A.J. Brown, would you rather just give up draft capital over paying a player on the open market of Pierce's caliber to that price? Like, I think that's where some of these teams, and I know with last week's news that took place, Buffalo removes themselves of the teams really looking for a wide receiver because they made the trade for DJ Moore. But when you look at Denver, needs a wide receiver here in free agency or with trades, I wonder if they become a good option when you look at the A.J. Brown situation long term, that they would be willing to make a move with the Philadelphia Eagles and go land a wide receiver.
Well, as far as Pierce goes with the Colts, I think I would rather pay the money rather than give up the draft pick, because you still have to pay A.J. Brown. I know he's got a contract. You still have to pay him. But with Pierce, he already has a familiarity with Daniel Jones after last year. So you don't have to learn with the new player. They don't have to develop that chemistry. So Pierce and Jones already have that chemistry after playing alongside each other for that year. So they already have that. I don't want to give up the draft capital. If you're the Patriots and you're giving up the 31st pick, to me, giving up the 31st overall pick is fine, because I don't think you're drafting a player of A.J. Brown's caliber with the 31st pick. To me, giving up the 31st pick and saying you're drafting A.J. Brown is fine to me. If you're drafting higher than that and you're giving up a first-round pick that's higher than that, if you're the Colts and you have a higher pick than that for them, I wouldn't do that. I'm not giving that up. So I don't want to. They don't have any first-round picks to give up because they traded for Sauce Gardner. They don't have a first-round pick this year. They don't have a first-round pick next year. So they're not making that trade. The Patriots can afford to make that trade. So I think they should do that. I don't know if they're going to. They were tied to Alec Pierce. They're obviously not going to do that. The Patriots now are looking for some form of wide receiver. I made the case last week, Chris, that maybe they should be looking for a veteran wide receiver that you can rely on. Mm-hmm. I made the case for maybe Mike Evans to go to the Patriots.
Yeah, it's not a bad landing spot.
For Drake May to have a reliable wide receiver that he can count on that is a catch machine. You know that Mike Evans is going to catch everything. Coming off an injury, I know that it's a risky move. He's not going to cost you as much as obviously Alec Pierce was going to. You don't have to give up the draft capital that you would for A.J. Brown. But if Mike Evans went to the Patriots, you could obviously spend on another wide receiver. You could draft another wide receiver at 31 if you wanted to. But to me, Mike Evans would make perfect sense for New England.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. You can hang out with us. Give us a call at 310-840-4910. You can also text the show your concerns or thoughts about NFL free agency that just kicked off 11 minutes ago. Abdalla just mentioned the Patriots. The Patriots are making moves. Diana Rossini from The Athletic is reporting that the Patriots are signing Ravens defensive end Draymond Jones. So they are going defense. They are adding a defensive end to the mix. The report from Rossini says that Baltimore made a strong push to retain Jones, but he will be heading to New England to play on the defensive side for Mike Vrabel. So that is the move for the Patriots at the moment. I do think that you make a good point for New England. If they want to go after a wide receiver, Mike Evans would make a lot of sense for the Patriots. I think Mike Evans would make a lot of sense in a bunch of different places. Mm-hmm. And I think he's the type of player that the proof is there. He has proven over time, obviously, Hall of Fame player, but he is someone that a young quarterback can rely on. And I think that's where Drake May, it would make a lot of sense there. I mentioned previously Denver to you. They need wide receiver help.
Yep.
Bo Nix coming off of the ankle injury. That would be a big piece of relief for a young quarterback to have a wide receiver like Evans in the mix. So we'll keep our eyes on that. The latest, the Patriots are signing Ravens defensive end Draymond Jones. Formerly with the Ravens, he will now be with the Patriots moving forward.
Yeah, well, the Ravens just got a defensive end, so I think they'll be okay. They got Max Crosby, so I think they'll be all right. Jones had 7 sacks last year, 55 pressures, so Mike Vrabel gets gets an addition to his defensive line. I think it'll be beneficial for them. They need to revamp some of their offensive line, I think, to help Drake May out, and obviously add some wide receivers for the Patriots if they want to return, because, obviously the Bills shoring up their wide receivers with DJ Moore, trading for DJ Moore last week. The Bills, once again, class of that division, class of that conference, really, in the AFC. If you go right now, the Bills, favorites to win the AFC. It seems like the Patriots need to do something, whether it's A.J. Brown, whether it's Mike Evans. If the Bills or the Patriots want to compete with the Bills and keep up, they need to do something. Defense is fine, but you have to help your quarterback. Defense is great, and I get a great defense can help your quarterback, and they had a good defense last year. And adding, Draymond Jones is a good start, but you have to add offensive linemen, and you have to add weapons for your young quarterback. And Mike Evans or A.J. Brown, one of those, you got to do something. And the price of A.J. Brown continues to remain steady from the Eagles at a first-round pick, because that's what GM Howie Roseman keeps saying that he wants.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So there's a lot of movement. Free agency just begun 14 minutes ago. Alec Pierce re-signing with the Indianapolis Colts for 4 years, $116 million. We've seen news earlier today before the free agent legal tampering period started up. Tua Tagovailoa will be released by the Miami Dolphins. Travis Kelce expected to re-sign with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, he's already tired, huh?
What's that?
Said he's already tired of being at home, huh?
Oh, you're saying he was hanging out with Cat Lady for a couple of weeks, and then he realized he needed to get out of there?
I ain't doing this full time.
I can't sit around with her anymore.
I got one more year, man. I ain't going home yet.
Like, I'm all for the paparazzi following us around out of all the different restaurants and hot spots.
But I'm going back to camp.
But she's here knitting a sweater with her cats.
No.
Like, I don't know if that's what I want to do.
I need another album cycle, or I need to go back to camp. Whatever happens first.
When are you going back on tour, lady? When is this? Yes, we are talking about Taylor Swift. That's exactly who we're talking about.
He doesn't want to be a part of planning a wedding.
Well, what guy does?
And that's my point. If he goes to camp, he doesn't have to be a part of this, right?
If you have participated in said event,
it's not fun.
No, it's not. And it is very stressful for no good reason. Yeah, I mean,
because let's be honest,
the wedding itself is a good reason, but from experience, all of the back and forth, and then you get the mother-in-law, and then you get your mother, and then everything's like,
you have to pretend to care,
and you don't.
But you don't care.
You don't care at all.
I don't care what colors there are. I don't care what the food. Like, the food's got to taste good, but I don't really care. I don't care about any of it, but you got to pretend. And Travis Kelce doesn't want to pretend, so he's going to go to training camp. He's going to go to all the off-season workouts, all the OTAs. He's going to show up for everything.
He's actually at the facility right now. He's going to be kicking around.
He's like, you don't need to show up and sign a contract. He's like, no, I need to put pen to paper.
Yeah, I need to get this working. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. I've got a team that I think is now the favorite in the AFC. I'll tell you who that is next.
It's conference tournament week. Bubbles are busted, and tickets are getting punched. March Madness is upon us on your official home of the NCAA tournament, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
NFL free agency, the legal tampering period has begun in the NFL. We'll keep our eyes on that. And on Friday, a big trade in the NFL went down. The Raiders traded Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens for 2 first-round picks in 2026 and 2027. So Max Crosby, one of the best defensive ends in all football, will be playing for the Ravens this upcoming season. And the Raiders now can jumpstart their rebuild. obviously expected to take with the number 1 pick a quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. And now they can build the line. They can do all kinds of different things now with 2 first-round picks getting back for Max Crosby. Abdalla, when I look and see this trade take place, and I saw that Crosby is going to the Ravens, my initial reaction was that the Baltimore Ravens are now the favorite in the AFC to win the Super Bowl next season. And I stand by that. If you get the most out of Lamar Jackson, which I think the new head coaching staff with Jesse Minter, offensive coordinator Declan Doyle, I think they will get the most out of Lamar Jackson. And I think when you say Crosby to the Ravens, to me, they are the favorites in the AFC.
I agree with you to an extent. I still think that the better quarterback is on the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. And obviously, you're going to have 2 first-time head coaches for both of those teams, with Joe Brady taking over the Buffalo Bills. And the better defense is going to be the Baltimore Ravens, with Max Crosby, with Jesse Minter as a defensive-minded head coach. But if it comes down to it, and which team has the ball last, and we're talking about an AFC championship game, the edge is still going to go to the Buffalo Bills, and it's because of the addition that they made with DJ Moore. With trading with the Bears for a second-round pick for DJ Moore, the edge still goes to me with the Buffalo Bills. Now, they're tied in odds to win the Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills at DraftKings and the Baltimore Ravens are both plus 950 to win the Super Bowl. But to win the conference, to win the AFC, the Ravens are plus 450. The Bills not that far behind at plus 475. So you're right. The Ravens are the favorite to win the conference, but they're equal to win the Super Bowl. It's like 1A, 1B. Like they're not far off.
Yeah, right. But it does tell me, like, usually with the new coaching staff, you see a move or you enter an off season with the idea that we're going to surprise people. Mm-hmm. And that's usually what you get with the new coaching staff bump is like, that's not the case here with Baltimore. They are reloading.
Yeah.
This is an absolute Jesse Minter is walking into this team being the best team in the conference heading into this season, which you could argue many thought that they were last season entering this season. I thought they were a Super Bowl team last year in the offseason.
Yeah.
So now when we look at the move for Max Crosby, I think that just elevates in this offseason heading into next year. And now it's all about Lamar Jackson. Does Lamar Jackson in the offseason program show up? Is he a part of it? Does he take place in what's going on? And is he buying in to what the Ravens are trying to accomplish? And so that's the question on the table for our callers and our text line at 310-840-4910. You can call and text the show at that same number. Are the Ravens the favorite in the AFC? I think they are. You can also point out Buffalo. I think there are people in the great city of Denver, Colorado, that would be screaming from the mountaintops, standing right next to Raj Sharon, producing today's show, saying that Denver is the best team in the conference. I think those in the Northeast, Patriots fans probably have a word with this as well.
Wow.
Kansas City always lurking in the background in the shadows. Can Kansas City get back into the mix? But that's the question I have for you at 310-840-4910. Are the Ravens the best team in the AFC today?
I think that you made a great point, and it all comes down to buy-in from Lamar, right? Like we saw Lamar hours before did Lamar break the Max Crosby news? Hours before
eyes emoji.
It was the eyes. It was the boom gif from Training Day with Denzel Washington, and he knew.
My man.
And he knew. And he broke the news. Like he said it without saying it. And then hours later, Max Crosby was traded to the Baltimore Ravens. But the question is going to be the buy-in from Lamar Jackson. I know Josh Allen is going to be there. I know Josh Allen, to me, right now, is the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, Patrick Mahomes, but last year, you didn't show me that you were the best quarterback in the NFL. Right now, it's Josh Allen. Until Patrick Mahomes comes back fully healthy, which he might not be ready to start the regular season, if he comes back fully healthy and returns to what we're used to seeing, MVP caliber Patrick Mahomes. Right now, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. And until he's not, I'm still giving the edge to the Buffalo Bills. But again, it's 1A, 1B. Like, there's not a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if that's your AFC championship game.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. We'll keep our eyes on NFL free agency. The legal tampering period window has opened. It opened about 27 minutes ago, and here's the latest signing coming across right now from the NFL Network. The Chiefs are signing Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker. That's right. He is leaving Seattle. The star running back will be playing for the Kansas City Chiefs next season. If you want to join the conversation, you can call us at 310-840-4910. And that's where we find Carl in Illinois, hanging out with Bleck Abdalla. What's up, Carl?
Well, what's going on? Long-time listener, first-time caller.
What's up, Carl?
What's up, dude?
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me good?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you could hear me. Just real quick, I got some breaking news. Travis Kelce was spotted at the Chiefs practice facility asking the janitor if he needs any help sweeping and mopping because it's more important. It's better than listening to the type of cupcakes that Taylor's going to be giving to her bridesmaids. He's like, hey, I'll do it for free. He's probably going to sign a 13-year extension. He's going to sign a 13-year extension, play till he's 50 for league minimum, just so he has something to do because better than being a husband. All right. Real quick, thanks, guys, for taking my call. A beautiful time with spring training and March Madness going on. I just want to say this is a great time for all you movie lovers to watch Blue Chips or Taking Care of Business with Jim Belushi or even Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor. It's a great time to watch those movies.
Yes.
What comes to the Bears pick, I just like to – I am going to not even humble brag. I'm going to brashly brag that on day 2 of the draft, within less than 5 minutes after the Bears drafted Luther Burden, I called into a radio station and I said that the host was freaking out because they had all these receivers and they drafted Burden. And I said they're going to trade DJ Moore. And I'm even on the radio saying they're probably going to send him to Buffalo because that's what I would do. And that was within 5 minutes after that draft pick. I called it. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm going to share that with you, even if you don't really care. But it's a very, very big thing for me. I'm proud of that.
Congratulations, Carl.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue this, and I want you to write this down. With the Bears' second-round picks, I will say the first second-round pick, I think, and I guarantee, I'm going to say it, they're going to take Pat Coogan, the interior lineman out of Indiana, and that's going to be their center of the future. And we'll see if they move around Jonah Jackson in the next couple of years in his salary. But I predict back Pat Coogan. Feel very, very confident about that one. So I was hoping what you guys think about that. And also, I'd also like to see, do you think that there's a way?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, this will be the last thing then. I'll call back tomorrow. But do you think there'd be a time? Do you think there'd be a chance that that the Bears could have swung a trade to send DJ Moore to New England that involved Garrett Bradbury that would have worked out for the Bears' long-term future? Or do you think that getting Bradbury in a separate deal and sending DJ to the Bills for the package you got ends up being a better overall situation for the long-term future?
All right,
I love
thank
you
you,
guys
Carl.
both very much.
Yep. There he is, Carl from Illinois. Calling Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. 310-840.
There it is.
4910. You can also text the show. I only said there's more because he had 8 things he wanted to get to.
Yeah.
A lot on his
That's
docket.
fine. That's fine.
It turned into the Carl from Illinois show for a second.
For a second, yeah. Listen.
Which I don't mind.
Listen, Pat Coogan, 3 spins, 310 pounds, 6'5", beefy boy. And we know how that Indiana offensive line played. They played well. To answer his question,
yeah, really? Do we need an answer?
No. I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you.
All right.
The package that the Bears got back for DJ Moore, getting a second-round pick is better.
Yeah.
You got a second-round pick for DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm with that.
You got a second-round pick for DJ. I know you had to send a 5th back, but you got a second-round pick for DJ Moore.
And I appreciate Carl taking the victory lap on a take that wasn't on this network or show. Shout out to him for getting it right. I do think a lot of people in Chicago
could have been to us, though. We don't know.
I thought a lot of people thought at the time when Luther Burden was selected that it's likely that DJ Moore in the future would be a player that was moved to create cap space because he was getting paid like a number 1 receiver, although he's not necessarily a top level number 1 receiver. He's good. He's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
But so yes, those are the thoughts on the Bears. The Bears have a lot of cap space now. So we'll see what they do today. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. If you want to be like Carl, you want to call this show, you can call us at 310-840-4910. You can also text the show at the same number. And so Kenneth Walker signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a big development. The MVP from the Super Bowl. He's a really productive runner of the rock, but also not very good in the pass game, not good pass blocking either, Abdalla. So he is the type of player that if Kansas City is looking to control the time of possession and run the football more this upcoming season to help out Patrick Mahomes, try and keep him healthy, Kenneth Walker will assist in that.
Yeah, there's two things about Kenneth Walker. One from the Super Bowl I'll never forget. When it was said, well, he can't block, he can't catch, but he sure can run. Good for Kenneth Walker. And I want to see the money. I want to see what Kenneth Walker is going to get. It was projected, obviously the tag was very high. He wants, upwards of $15 million a year. I want to see what kind of money Kenneth Walker is going to get from the Kansas City Chiefs. Because if he's getting $15 million a year, that is a lot of money for a running back. And the Chiefs aren't an organization that hands out that kind of money to running backs. And I understand that this is a year of transition for the Kansas City Chiefs. You said they're always lurking. I think that's a great way to put what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing this year. They're just going to be lurking. I don't think they're going to be I don't even know if they're going to be the class of their division this year. I can make a case that the Chargers are going to be better. I can make a case that the Broncos are going to be better. I don't think that the Chiefs are going to even win their division, let alone compete for an AFC championship this year. And honestly, I think that they might be okay with that this year. You have to reset your financial structure. They've got a lot of high draft picks this year. You can get younger. You can sign these cheaper guys, which is weird, which is how I wonder what the financials are for this Kenneth Walker deal. If the cap hits are cheaper in the second and third year so they can reset their financials for the second and third year next year, and they can sign guys in 2027 and 2028, then that's better for them. I think they're fine if they get hot and they go on a run late in the year, but also if they're just lurking, like you said, and competing, I think that they're fine with that. And I think that the Chiefs they're not taking like a year off, but they want to compete and be good. But I don't think that they're going to be upset if they don't win a Super Bowl this year.
Kansas City's in the classic situation that we've now found great teams that find themselves into the spot where they are in the prime of their Hall of Fame player at quarterback. But with that prime comes a crazy large contract attached to it. And Patrick Mahomes has won at the highest level. And now what we're seeing here in the last couple of seasons is the tinkering a team has to do to continue trying to win while having the high-priced, one of the best players in football on the roster. Mm-hmm. And they've won, so they've done it. So now how do you continue that? And that's the price you pay by having players. And don't like mince my words. Like, it's obvious. You keep Patrick Mahomes. That's the guy, right? But like, this is what teams have to find themselves in when they get that player and they move into the future, is that when you find that guy, you need to get creative in your ability to build around said player, because you can't keep everyone. You got to trade away players. Good defensive players get traded away. You bring guys back on deals that maybe are friendly to the team. I mean, we haven't seen the numbers on Travis Kelce yet.
That was my point.
But like, this is one of those situations where Buffalo will enter this market. You know, the win now move made over the weekend by the Ravens to go get Max Crosby, that can't last forever. Like, that window's going to be now for the Baltimore Ravens. And I think that's what's unique is you see Kansas City signing Kenneth Walker. Jordan Schultz has the numbers, 3 years, $43 million, worth up to possibly $45 million per sources, telling Jordan Schultz for Kenneth Walker and the Kansas City Chiefs. So as free agency started, I know Abdalla just took he just almost fell over in his chair by that number for Kenneth Walker
highest
to the
paid
Chiefs.
Free agent deal for a running back in NFL history, according to Tom Pelissero.
My God. A guy that we just got done talking about who does not pass block.
Is Andy Reid okay? Can someone check on Andy? Can someone check on his nuggies? Is he okay?
He's sitting in the cafeteria having lunch.
Is he okay?
Yeah. He's having chicken nuggets. He's having tots because he's a tot guy. He's not a fry guy.
Oh, my God.
And he's just loving life right now. So free agency started 37 minutes ago. The latest signings, Kevin Walker to the Chiefs. Alec Pierce re-signs with the Colts. The Patriots sign Ravens defensive lineman Draymond Jones. And the Buccaneers have re-signed Cade Otton. So tight end Cade Otton re-signs with the Buccaneers as well. We have a lot of news going on, taking place right now around the National Football League as the official tampering period in the NFL has started up. And it's Bleck Abdalla, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Travis Kelce is re-signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. What does that mean for the Chiefs? We'll tell you about that coming up next.
It's conference tournament week. Bubbles are busting, and tickets are getting punched. March Madness is upon us on your official home of the NCAA tournament, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
All right, we have NFL news flying at us fast and furious right now here around the league. We will get to Travis Kelce in a moment. He's returning to Kansas City. So we'll talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and Travis Kelce in just one moment. Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, is reporting that there is a trade between the Colts and the Steelers. Wide receiver Michael Pittman being traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's the latest for a trade. Adam Schefter, ESPN, has a couple of signings. The Commanders are signing left tackle Laramie Tunzel. They've agreed on a 2-year, $60.2 million contract extension with the Commanders. So Tunzel will stay with the Commanders. Then you also have from Schefter, sources are telling ESPN that Jalen Phillips has agreed to a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. $80 million of that in guarantees. So star pass rusher, formerly of the Dolphins, traded midseason to the Eagles. Phillips now heading to Carolina for $80 million guaranteed. Like that's the thing to always keep your eye on. If you're following along with NFL free agency and you see some of these eye-popping numbers, I always remember, I was told years ago, only look at the guarantees.
Yeah.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Because all the numbers that are floated out by agents today and all this stuff that seems like eye-popping, the number you want to focus on is the guarantee. And Jalen Phillips getting $80 million in guarantees from the Carolina Panthers. That's a big deal.
Well, and also a lot going on with the Eagles, right? So Jalen Phillips leaves. They tried to keep him. But when the Panthers come in with $120 million, $80 million in guaranteed, like you said, it's hard to say no to that. So Jalen Phillips leaves. There's also reports over the weekend that they're getting calls for Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter missed time last year, but there are reports out of Philly that he has some work ethic issues. He's great when he's on the field, but off the field, he's got some issues. And so they might be looking to move on from Jalen Carter. Also, what have we been talking about the last week and a half? That they want to move on from A.J. Brown. So what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles this year? Is it going to be a down year, another down year for the Philadelphia Eagles? They obviously were eliminated from the playoffs this year not because of the A.J. Brown drops, but it didn't help certainly in the playoffs that he was dropping passes left and right from Jalen Hurts. So now they might be losing a few defensive pieces. Now, they are losing defensive pieces because they draft very well. They acquire players that are very good, and they demand these big contracts. And a lot of these players that they have are due very big contracts. So they have to make these decisions. But losing a good wide receiver, losing great defensive players, it could be a year where the Cowboys might win the division, where you might see, like you've been talking about, the Giants could have a chance to compete in the division with a new coach in John Harbaugh. So I think it's a year where you could see some movement in the NFC East here because of what the Eagles are losing potentially with all these guys leaving, potential trades, and teams acquiring these players.
Yeah, the Eagles are definitely a team that, last season, the way their season ended with the offense sputtering out in the playoffs and at the end of the season, it did feel like entering this offseason that Philly was a team that was ready to kind of rebound from where they were, still being a contender in the NFC. They've got a quarterback that I believe in, that I think you also, Jalen Hurts, I think you like. And so it's just like one of those situations. Howie Roseman and the Eagles are always retooling. They're never a team that's rebuilding. And so when you see these moves taking place, you see that Jalen Phillips is signing with the Carolina Panthers, it kind of felt like that was a move that was made in the season as a part of that retool. And we'll see how Philly spends the rest of their money. They don't have a ton of cap space, about 12 mil right now. We'll see how that goes kind of in the next couple of days, but a big chip to see what falls is whether or not A.J. Brown gets traded. Because, we are seeing wide receivers move. Alec Pierce re-signing with the Colts, staying there. We see that Michael Pittman getting traded to Pittsburgh. That's a big move taking place here today in the NFL.
A weapon for Aaron Rodgers, potentially, who Ian Rappaport said last week is expected to make his decision by the start of free agency, which is, I'm looking at my watch, in about 2 days. Like, the official start of free agency is Wednesday. All these deals are being announced now, but the official start of free agency is on Wednesday, and that's when the Steelers are expecting Aaron Rodgers to emerge. Now, he did emerge from Rodgers' knob, his hole, and his ayahuasca and his darkness retreats.
It's a hut where they do drugs.
Okay, easy.
Well, what is ayahuasca? It's not a drug?
I just didn't know that I was sitting
Am
next
I
to
wrong?
Reefer Madness over here on my left, okay?
They're in a hut doing drugs, Abdalla.
Easy there. They're doing the marijuana cigarettes
They're
over
out there getting high.
They're doing the easy there. You and your lass better worry about the marijuana cigarettes.
It's not true. I say he was outside of his hut. He was on McAfee last week.
He was, and he didn't say anything about.
He was ready to go.
He was high praise for Mike McCarthy, high praise for the Steelers, but didn't say if he was going to sign with them. But Ian Rappaport did say he was expected to make a decision, and everybody assumes he's going to decide to play for the Steelers. Getting Michael Pittman obviously helps. It's another weapon for him.
All right. Do you want to play a little quarterback musical chairs with me right now?
Ooh.
So Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Now, we had a caller on the show about 20 minutes ago who wanted to take a victory lap. Big victory lap guy. He noticed something with the Chicago Bears. He wanted to tell us he got it right last season. He called into the show today to tell us. If we had a victory lap segment right now about the quarterback carousel going on, Raj Sharon producing today's show. Raj, did Bleck and Abdalla not get this right from the jump? Here's the latest news in the NFL.
You guys called this one. You called it.
Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, sources. The Miami Dolphins are signing Packers quarterback Malik Willis as their new quarterback. So Malik Willis heading to Miami. He will get a 3-year, $67 million contract with $45 million guaranteed. So Malik Willis will be signing with the Miami Dolphins. Abdalla and I have been on this for weeks, that's the spot that made the most sense for Malik Willis. I don't think it's going to turn out for the good. I don't think this works. I think if you got a tanking team and you are depleted of talent and you think that Malik Willis is going to be the guy to kind of take you out of that, this to me is just giving a bunch of money to a guy to be a starter to tank your franchise. And the Dolphins will be drafting a quarterback next year in the NFL draft with likely the number 1 pick. So Malik, the news is here. Malik Willis signing with the Dolphins.
And that's exactly what they're doing. And you kind of already had that guy in your building in Tua, and you're already paying him. So why? You already got rid of all of his weapons. You depleted. You could trade Jalen Waddle. You could trade Waddle. You could get rid of all these guys, right? And deplete Tua Tagovailoa of all of his weapons. And you're going to pay him anyway because of the money, the dead cap hit that you are forced to pay and designate him as a June 1st cut. Why are you paying 2 quarterbacks now? Especially this much money for Malik Willis. All you had to do was sign a cheap backup, keep Tua, deplete. Like you can tank without tanking, without good weapons, depletion of weapons. Draft rookie wide receivers. Do whatever you need to do. Start building that way, and then when Tua leaves, cut him next year when the money makes more sense. But now you're paying 2 quarterbacks to be bad. It doesn't make it.
It's
we
hilarious.
called it, but it doesn't make sense.
The latest news in free agency. This is the place to be if you want up to date news on NFL free agency. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Diana Rossini of The Athletic. Former Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely is signing a 3-year deal worth $40 million with the New York Giants. So the Giants get a new tight end, Isaiah Likely, with the Giants. And we were just mentioning that Malik Willis will be signing with the Miami Dolphins, and we kind of called it here on the show. So we're talking about Malik Willis going to the Dolphins, sponsored by Robinhood. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. So Malik Willis going to the Miami Dolphins. You're right. We did call this out. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and I don't think that Malik Willis will have some level of high-level success. A part of what worked the last couple of seasons with Malik Willis in the Green Bay Packers as the infrastructure is there. They've got the coach, they've got an offensive system. The Packers usually have a decent offensive line. They had a bunch of weapons. So Malik Willis now in Miami, I don't see this working out for the player at all. Now he gets the cash, so good for him, but it's not going to work out.
Good for him. You get your money. Good for Kenneth Walker. You get your money. I see it working out for Kenneth Walker. Obviously, he's going to a good organization. But as far as Malik Willis, this is a move for them to tank, period.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We will keep you up to date with NFL free agency. More coming up next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Happy free agency day in the NFL. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can also listen to us on SiriusXM channel 375 and all of our great radio affiliates across the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla. We are on the air until 3 Eastern. If you want to call us, you can call us at 310-840-4910. You can also text the same number your thoughts on NFL free agency. Abdalla, as we get started, hour number 2 of the show. Free agency started an hour ago, and there's a lot going on in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Colts re-sign Alex Pierce, 4 years, $116 million. The Chiefs sign running back from the Seahawks, Kenneth Walker, so he'll be with Kansas City. The Commanders re-sign Laramie Tunsil to a 2-year, $60 million deal. Jalen Phillips signs with the Panthers, 4 years, $120 million. Michael Pittman is traded from Indy to Pittsburgh. I think that's a huge move. And within the last 5 to 10 minutes, the Miami Dolphins are signing Malik Willis. So the first quarterback to go off the board in our quarterback carousel. Our musical chairs of quarterbacks, where will they land? First name off the board, Malik Willis to Miami. Lots going on in the NFL. Today is the legal tampering day in the NFL. Wednesday at 4 Eastern is the official date where teams can officially announce the signings of free agents. And it's legal tampering today in the NFL. Lots going on.
And we still haven't gotten the 2 or 3 probably biggest names yet. The 3 biggest names are probably Trey Hendrickson. He is a free agent, the defensive end that's formerly a Bengal. We haven't gotten Tyler Linderbaum, the center from the Ravens, and you're like, a center. The dude's going to get $25 million a year. That is a lot of money for a beefy boy up front for the centers. And then you also have Kyler Murray, who is going to be released, and he's a free agent. The fact that we got Malik Willis and Tua Tagovailoa was released by the Dolphins earlier today, and the rumors are that he is probably going to sign with the Atlanta Falcons. So that's out there. There's smoke around the Falcons with Tua. So if he ends up there, but the fact that we haven't heard anything about Kyler Murray yet is interesting. So we've got Hendrickson, we've got Murray, and we've got Linderbaum. Those are probably the three biggest names that are left out there. And Aaron Rodgers, but we presume he's going to be a Steeler when we get to Wednesday, the official start, when when the teams can release all of their drafts. They're working up all the graphics right now of all of these signings, and that's when they can hit send.
Yeah, I would say, a couple of things as we put together the short list of the biggest names that are still out there that teams have a chance to perhaps sign. You're right. Aaron Rodgers is a part of that collection. When you look at it, I think you also have to add A.J. Brown to the mix.
Yeah.
And whether or not he's going to be traded. I didn't see Michael Pittman getting traded, and he just did within the last 30 minutes. The Steelers trade for Michael Pittman from the Colts. Now, the Colts made news at the start of free agency, re-signing Alec Pierce. So Pittman on the move, and the Steelers, this is from Tom Pelissero on the NFL Network, the Steelers are signing Michael Pittman to a 3-year, $59 million deal. Sources tell the insiders on the NFL Network. So it's a trade to Pittsburgh and a new contract for Michael Pittman. I said to you during the commercial break, this is a big deal. This is am I wrong here? Michael Pittman getting traded, he's a very good wide receiver. And now Aaron Rodgers, if he chooses to come back with Pittsburgh, he's got quite the wide receiver core put together there now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty good.
His best year was 3 years ago in 2023, where he had 109 catches, 1,100 yards. He only had 4 touchdowns. But if you look at him, he was a catch machine that year, 109 catches. Last year, 80 catches. But if you look what happened to the Colts last year. I mean, he started 16 games. He had 784 yards, 7 touchdowns. But again, look at what happened to the Colts last year. Daniel Jones was hurt. They ended up bringing Phillip Rivers at some point. Yeah. You can't really go off of what happened at the end of the season to Alec Pierce, to Michael Pittman, to any of these guys. And I know we talked about Alec Pierce having 7 touchdowns and 1,000 yards and getting this crazy amount of money. What would have happened if, and I know we're saying Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones in that offense was the best offense in the NFL until Daniel Jones got hurt. They were tracking to be the best offense in the NFL at the time. We were talking about how this team could surprise everybody and make a run at a Super Bowl. And Daniel Jones was playing at an MVP caliber level. We as the NFL, the Royal NFL
I was not
world.
a part of that.
I'm just saying.
No,
the NFL world
I was anti-Colts.
Was saying
throughout the season. While you and they were doing it, I was not.
You can keep saying that, but the fact that they won a bunch of games.
Yeah, they did. And I would expect them to have a slight level of that same success next season. But I think what we saw at the end, obviously the injuries with Daniel Jones derailed their offense at the end of the season, but I also don't think they were as good as they played. Running out to that 7-0, what were they, 8-0 at one point?
They were 8-2 before he got hurt.
Yeah, they're not that good.
I understand.
They're not that
your
good.
Your record is your record. That when he got hurt, they had one of the best offenses in the NFL, and they were 8-2. Just saying.
Slappy with the Colts love.
I'm just saying. They were what they were. And then he got hurt, and then they're bringing old man Rivers off the street from a high school gym, coaching high school football, and he's got to go out there and start games.
Grandpa Rivers.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
It was a fun storyline.
But what are you doing with Pittman and Alec Pierce at that point?
No, I agree with you. And I think when you look at Pittman moving forward with the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have DK Metcalf and they have Michael Pittman. That's a pretty good 1-2 combo for Aaron Rodgers if Rodgers does decide to come back to the Pittsburgh Steelers with Mike McCarthy as the new head coach, which sets up perfectly now here on the Bleck Abdalla show for Adam Abdalla to tell us why he thinks this Pittsburgh Steelers team is going to be so good this upcoming season.
Well, when you add a weapon like Michael Pittman and you give Mike McCarthy a weapon like that, I mean, look at what he did with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Look at what he did with Dak Prescott when he was in Dallas. I mean, he look at his record. If I put up the 2 records between John Harbaugh and I put up the records with Mike McCarthy, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. The only difference is one's John Harbaugh and one's Mike McCarthy. And the only difference is one is deserving of accolades and was the highest profile head coach out there. And one is laughed and mocked in the streets and has tomatoes thrown at him while he's he's in the stockades.
No one's throwing tomatoes.
They are. They're throwing tomatoes at Mike McCarthy. That's what they're doing. He's taking them and putting them on his burger, but that's beside the point with Mike McCarthy here. What's interesting, though, Chris, is now over the weekend, I wonder if word got to Aaron Rodgers in his hut or his hole, wherever he goes, because I'm sure it got back to Joe Burrow that the Ravens traded for Max Crosby, and they're shaking in their boots a little bit because now, especially Joe Burrow with that offensive line, the offensive line of the Steelers is a little bit better, but both of those quarterbacks, Joe Burrow doesn't have a choice. He's under contract. Aaron Rodgers now has to be sitting there thinking, maybe not. Maybe could we add some offensive line depth? Maybe could we do something there? Michael Pittman's nice, but I need some protection here against that guy because that guy's a monster. And the Ravens pulled off an insane trade over the weekend to get the guy everybody wanted in Max Crosby.
Diana Rossini is reporting that the Jets are signing linebacker Demario Davis. Sources tell The Athletic Davis has spent time as the captain of the Saints. Really good player, long in the tooth, but I think he has a couple of years left in him. And I think Adam Schefter has the numbers on it. Yeah, ESPN's Adam Schefter. Saints linebacker Demario Davis reached an agreement with the Jets, 2 years, $22 million. It includes $15 million fully guaranteed. So Davis returns to the Jets. He was in New York to start his career. Just a side note, Demario Davis joined Bleck Abdalla live from the Super Bowl week. Mm-hmm. He was probably one of our favorite guests that we talked to the entire week. He was awesome to chat with.
Yeah, super nice guy.
He was a really good, insightful guy, gave us a lot of great information. So I really enjoyed our time talking with Demario Davis at the Super Bowl. And now he will be a New York Jet. So he signs with the Jets. 2 years, $22 million. Linebacker goes to the Jets.
Well, he gave us a lot of good information about Tyler Shuck and how he came on as a quarterback and as a leader in the second half of the season and really, took over that team as a leader in the locker room. And they're going to they believe in him moving forward as a quarterback and as a young team and him taking over in that division and what they can build upon. And as an older player, they need to start rebuilding and they need to start building around that quarterback. And part of that is moving on from your older players. And he's one of those guys.
I know on Mondays here on the show, we don't have our power rankings with Raj, but if I had my power rankings of football players and people we talked to at the Super Bowl,
he's high up there.
Demario Davis is high up there. Yeah. Kurt Warner, high up there.
Oh, number one.
Kyle Long, high up there.
Yeah, he's up there too. Yeah.
Number one for me.
Yeah.
Raj Sharon.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on.
Hanging out with Raj in
We're
person.
not ranking friends here.
Well, I am.
We don't rank friends. That's mean.
It's my power rankings.
That's not
Raj.
nice.
What do you think of that? You're number one.
You've already won for today. I appreciate it. I am a good friend.
I'm not ranking friends. In what world are we ranking our friends?
I'm friendly.
Yeah, see, we got to hang out with Raj in person. It was awesome.
I'm not ranking my friends. I'm not doing that. That's not nice.
I would also put Laura on the power rankings as well. We put Laura through so much crap that week. We had so much stuff to do off the air, and Laura was so helpful.
We had fun together. We had soups. Costos and Zimmerman were fun to hang out with as well.
Those are my power rankings. See, Abdalla, what do you have? What are you going to tell me about more ex-NFL people? No.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not in the business of ranking friends because that's mean to the friends that come in number 2 and 3.
No, maybe they should be better friends.
You're all number 1 to me.
Oh, yeah. See, that's such a lame cop-out
You're all
non-answer.
number 1 to me.
That's a non-answer.
It's the new friends we made along the way.
Yeah, it's the journey.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
How about that?
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can text us at 310-840-4910. You can use the same number to call us, and that's what Rob in Connecticut did. What's up, Rob?
Not much. You guys got me chuckling already over here listening to you two. It's like,
Thanks,
I don't know if I should rank you two as number 1.
Oh, please do.
I want to know this.
Second?
Yeah,
Give
come
it
on,
to
Rob.
us.
Rank us. Rank us.
You know what? I'm just getting used to you guys because, of course, I used to listen to the other network. And, there's some guys out there that I rank, like Zach Gelb is one of my favorites.
Sure.
But, unbelievable. Carlos with the K, Bart
Love
Winkler.
Carlos.
You guys are moving up the ranks, though, I have to admit. And Adam,
you.
I was going to ask you, have you had any great soup lately? Because I did hear you talking about the soups out in San Francisco.
I did have a good soup. I had a good lentil soup the other day. I was at a Middle Eastern restaurant, had a good soup the other day. It was great, delicious lentil soup. It was great, really hit the spot. It's warm now in Chicago, but like a week ago, it was very cold. It really
just
hit the
wait till
spot.
this weekend.
Yeah,
You
I
can
know.
have
It's
some
going to
soup.
it's like 70 today, and in like 3 days, it's going to be 30 again. It's disgusting.
All right. Well, anyways, the reason why I'm calling, first off, Bills Mafia. I'm a Bills fan.
Okay.
I have like mixed feelings about DJ Moore. We'll see what happens, being at the fact that Joe Brady is the new head coach. What kind of play schemes is he going to be able to work him into this offense with the Buffalo Bills? Is Brandon Beane going to go big or go home? Mike Evans is still floating around out there. Trey Hendrickson. We'll see if maybe we could grab one of those gentlemen, maybe put that in the mix. That's reaching, but as far as the Ravens, Max Crosby, that was a great pickup for them. I mean, you got Kyle Hamilton with them as well. So for me, I'm not looking at the Super Bowl because the season hasn't even started yet. So is that one player going to make a big difference to push them to the Super Bowl? I kind of have a hard time with that. Would I have loved to have Max Crosby on the Bills? Absolutely. But, just listen to you guys and what's going on today. I think likely with the Giants that's huge because that's going to help Jackson Dart. That's a big move because he's got another target to throw to. But I don't put the Ravens in the Super Bowl, and the Buffalo Bills. I mean, I'm not even putting them in the Super Bowl yet. I just want to see how the season goes. And, I am wishing that Mike Evans would wind up in Buffalo as well because I'm really hoping that we pick up a nice linebacker in the draft this year. So I'm listening to you guys every day at 12 o'clock. It's first time I'm ever talking to you guys. But, being blind, you guys are my voices. You guys are my vision. So that's why I rely on sports radio. Thanks,
Love
guys.
it, Rob. Hey, Rob, call again, okay, my man?
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. There he is, Rob in Connecticut, listening to Bleck Abdalla, 310-840-4910. A lot of good football thoughts there. I do want to follow up. Last week, I was out of town.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Mexico. I was in Cabo, and I took care of the soup.
I saw.
I went after some soups while I was down there. Tortilla soup, chicken tortilla soup is one of my favorite.
How were they?
Enjoyments in all of life. They were great.
I saw it on the Instagram.
The spicier, the better.
Did you have one with like a bunch of shrimp in it? It looked like there was one with a bunch of shrimp in it.
No, it was chicken.
Oh, it was chicken? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there were shrimp bisques
shrimp
okay. along the way as well.
Okay, maybe that was what it was. It was a shrimp bisque and not a tortilla soup.
But
okay.
in my if I had to give you an assessment on a good chicken tortilla soup, you always know it's a special one when they bring you the bowl with all of the dry ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
Separated from the broth.
And you got to build it.
And then they pour over the broth over the tortilla strips and the chunks of chicken and the avocado and all that good stuff. When they can just pour the broth over it, that's when you know you're in the mix for a very good chicken tortilla soup.
Yeah, because everything's still crunchy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
It's so good. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So we were just talking about the Ravens, and the question is whether or not they gave up too much or not enough to acquire Max Crosby. We'll talk about that coming up next.
This is Westwood. One of the offseason's biggest dominoes has fallen. Max Crosby traded to the Baltimore Ravens. Who will the next star on the move be, and where is he heading? Westwood One Sports.
Yeah, because I already recorded one with Raj.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right. Keeping our eyes on NFL free agency. Today is the legal tampering day in the NFL. Lots of movement already today. Michael Pittman traded to the Steelers, and with that trade, he gets a new deal. Malik Willis signs with the Miami Dolphins. Travis Kelce expected back and will sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. Kenneth Walker signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Lots of movement taking place right now in the NFL. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports until 3 Eastern, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago. And now we get a chance to hang out with our best friend in the world, Raj Sharon, producing today's show.
I love it.
As
Top
we go,
2, and he's not 2.
One-on-one with Raj today on a Monday as Raj joins us from Denver, Colorado. What's up, Raj?
Hey, guys, and we'll keep an eye on the news. It's still flying in. I had to adjust our one-on-one questions today on the fly with all
Perfect.
the news. And here, we're reading here, your Chicago Bears may be closing in on Kobe Bryant from the Seahawks.
Yep.
So we'll let everybody know as that happens. All right, here we go, guys. Let's do a little one-on-one free agency edition. We're going to start out, though, with a trade that came down over the weekend. The Ravens gave up too much, not enough, or the right amount for Max Crosby. Abdalla?
I think it's too much. I think 2 firsts was too much for Max Crosby. He's going to be 29, 30 years old. I understand he's a game wrecker. I understand he completely takes over games. And I understand that Chris is going to say that they are now the favorites to win the AFC. I understand that. I still think that when you get into a bidding war like that, 2 first-round picks for a guy that is that old, I would have just signed Trey Hendrickson, because all you have to do is restructure Lamar's deal and you get the same production and you don't have to give up the draft capital. And to me, that's more valuable. And I love the part of the story that's reported by Jeremy Fowler that the Patriots were involved, but Tom Brady refused to trade him. Like, what if the Patriots deal was better? Would he not have traded him to if the Patriots would have thrown in more picks, would Tom Brady not have traded Max Crosby to the Patriots? Like, that amount of petty is awesome to me. So I think they gave up too much.
Yeah, and I think the way Abdalla answered is a fair assessment, because the way I look at this, Raj, is if it's my team, I think 2 first-round picks is too much. And so in the context of the Baltimore Ravens, they got to win now. They got to win a Super Bowl this year or next year for the juice to be worth the squeeze of making this deal for Max Crosby. If it were my team, I would say it's too much. I think for the Ravens, it's just the right amount, because this is it. They're going for it. So I don't think there's any other way to look at it. I don't think, if there were better offers on the table, sure, perhaps that this was enough. But I think this is a situation. Max Crosby and the Ravens, you got to win a Super Bowl now. The time is now. The window is open. So for my team, the Chicago Bears, I'm a fan of. I'm glad that they didn't give up 2 first-round picks. I'm okay with 2 first-round picks being too rich for the Chicago Bears. I'm fine with that. For the Ravens, it's a win-now move. So you got to win now. That's my answer, Raj.
All right, good one. And guys, speaking of the Bears, it is done. They've got Kobe Bryant now. So
Kobe Bryant in the mix, which
safety is now agreed with the Bears per Ian Rappaport.
Which I would guess then would mean Jaquan Brisker is likely to be heading elsewhere, because he is also a free agent. And if the Bears are going to bring in Kobe Bryant, who's 26, I'm guessing Jaquan Brisker will be going elsewhere for next season. So we'll keep our eyes on that as well.
We will. And in the last few minutes, Steelers running back Kenneth Gainwell is headed to the Tampa Bay Bucks. So the news continues to come in. Speaking of running backs, the big one today, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker is headed to team up with Patrick Mahomes and the returning Travis Kelce. So the question for today's one-on-one, Kenneth Walker does or doesn't put the Chiefs back on top in the AFC West. Bleck?
It doesn't. I think Denver is still the better team. And I think the Chargers are closely gaining on the Denver Broncos. And Kansas City, unfortunately, to me, Raj, and I think it's a theme that you've probably noticed with this show, running backs don't move the meter for me, especially running backs who can't catch out of the backfield.
Well, you're kind compared to Abdalla. I mean, I'm surprised that they even are allowed to eat in the lunchroom of these facilities compared to Abdalla.
No, those are kickers. That's what we do to the kickers on this show. Yeah, the kickers aren't people. Come on. So I would say no. I don't think this puts the Chiefs on top of the AFC West with just this move.
No, I agree with you. It doesn't. I still think, as long as the Chargers do something with their offensive line soon, and they've started to make some moves, I think that it's going to be Broncos, Chargers, and then Chiefs. And I think it's going to be a good battle between the Broncos and the Chargers. I don't think the Chiefs are going to do enough. It depends on how much time Patrick Mahomes ends up missing at the start of the season. And again, the start of the season doesn't really matter, but how much does that carry over into the regular season? How long does it take him to get into football shape? I think the signing of Travis Kelce lets you all kind of know, like, this is a farewell tour for Travis Kelce. Is this going to be his last year? Are they doing him a solid by giving him this goodbye? And I just think that they're kind of okay just competing for a year and developing some young talent and then moving on from there and retooling and reloading for 2027. And I think they'll figure it out from there.
All right, guys, one of the big teams involved today in the news cycle, the Miami Dolphins. It doesn't get bigger than making some quarterback moves. Tua is out, Malik Willis is in. So my question, Malik Willis is or isn't an upgrade for the Miami Dolphins over Tua Tagovailoa? Abdalla?
He probably is, just in the sense that he can probably stay on the field longer than Tua Tagovailoa. Tua is a concussion away from exiting the league. The fact that he's had that many concussions and continues to come back and play and want to come back and play, he's one more away from being absolutely done. And so Malik gives you more health, and I know you got to pay both of them, but he's an upgrade in the sense that at least the ceiling could be higher. Like, let's say Malik Willis does turn into something that is better, and then you don't have to draft a quarterback next year. You did take a flyer on Malik Willis, and he does turn into a successful quarterback. Cool. At least if he doesn't, you do still have a chance to draft first, second, third overall, and it's going to be a quarterback-rich draft next season, so you do have that opportunity. I do think it's an upgrade for the franchise moving forward. I just still think Tua is probably the better overall quarterback, but he struggles to stay on the field, so I don't think it's an upgrade that way, too.
You're wrong. Malik Willis is not a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. Fact.
That's what I said. I said he's not.
No, I know.
But
it's not an upgrade.
But availability,
he isn't an upgrade.
Availability is the first thing.
No,
and Tua doesn't stay healthy.
He's not an upgrade whatsoever. I understand the financial aspect to why the Dolphins are doing this, but Tua's a better player. He is. And he'll be a backup in Atlanta, and at some point he'll start games because Michael Penix Jr. can't stay healthy, and we will see that Tua Tagovailoa is the better quarterback. How about that for the Atlanta Falcons? They're going to have two left-handed quarterbacks. The ball will spin the same way for both.
That's crazy.
It's pretty good for the receivers, right?
Yeah.
One's not there.
They don't have to adjust.
They don't have to adjust. Raj, so I'm going to say he isn't an upgrade.
I like it. By the way, guys, got numbers on the Kobe Bryant to the Bears deal from Jordan Schultz. 3 years, $40 million. Don't know the guarantee yet. 3 years, $40 million.
Lock it
Kobe
in.
Bryant leaving the Seahawks to join the Bears. All right, speaking of the Bears, while you were gone, Bleck, one of your all-time favorite Chicago legends left, so this is a good opportunity for you to talk a little about that. The team that got the better end of the DJ Moore trade is the Bills or the Bears, Bleck?
My initial gut reaction is the Chicago Bears, Raj, because a second-round draft pick, that's a big deal. And as you're building a team that's trying to contend, collecting draft assets is only going to assist even more down the road. Eventually, when you give Caleb Williams a top contract, a top quarterback contract in the NFL, you know, DJ Moore, there's a level of sarcasm there from Raj's question and laying out there one of my all-time. Listen, DJ Moore was a good wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. There were faults in his game, though. His effort at times lagged, and that's what really upset me at the end of the season is we saw once again his effort in a situation where you had a chance to win a playoff game. It wasn't there. The attention to detail was not there, and that's essentially how DJ Moore plays. He has stats. People from afar think he is a top-level wide receiver. He's a very durable player. He can run the football if you give him the rock outside the backfield or in a swing pass. Like, he is a productive player. I just don't think he's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. And for the money that he was making, I'm okay with the Bears moving on. I think he will have success with Josh Allen in the Buffalo Bills. But I do think the Bears will win this trade in the end because you get back a second-round draft pick, and hopefully it's a player who is better than DJ Moore at some point in the future.
I agree that the Bears probably got the better end of this, but we don't know until the Bears draft a successful player. Like they drafted Luther Burden last season in the second round, and Luther Burden, while he didn't start getting touches until like halfway through the season, at least the touches that everybody thought he was going to get, when he did get the football, he was great. Like he picked up great yards, he would pick up first downs, he was a first down machine, he was a catch machine, and he was great with the football. We don't know until we know what Ryan Poles does with that draft pick. Are they adding to the offensive line? Are they adding to the defensive line? Are they getting another wide receiver to replace DJ Moore? They don't really need that, but you can add depth everywhere. So I don't know, but I also think that when we saw like the trade for Goff and Stafford, like both teams, and obviously this isn't of that level because it's two quarterbacks, but both teams kind of won that trade. I think this is a situation where both teams can win the trade. Like if the Bills go on to win the Super Bowl and DJ Moore's a great player and is productive for the Bills, and the Bears draft a good productive player in the second round, both teams can win this trade. Like it doesn't have to be an either or.
It can work for both.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an either or, but on paper right now, the Bears did because DJ Moore is expensive and the Bears got a cheap second round pick, which you don't have to pay as much. So the Bears did right now.
All right, guys, we kicked off the top of the show with the news as free agency opened that Alec Pierce is re-signing with the Colts, got a big deal. Daniel Jones is transition tagged, so we assume he's going to be there, and they're working on a long-term deal. A lot of money for Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce, which leads to this question. Daniel Jones to Alec Pierce is or isn't a combo that I can see winning the Super Bowl? Abdalla?
You're trying to get me in trouble. Unfortunately, if my Colts season ticket holding in-laws are listening, I don't see them winning a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones. Like, I just don't see Daniel Jones Super Bowl winning quarterback. I know they were great to begin the season last year when we're 8-2 or whatever, and when he got hurt. But Chris is right. Like, it wasn't real. Like, they had an extremely soft schedule, and when they started to play real teams, they started losing games. And it was even softer than the Patriots' schedule. And it just wasn't going to be anything that materialized into a playoff. They probably were going to make the playoffs and everything, but we saw what they were as soon as Daniel Jones got hurt. I also believe that this is the division where the Titans have a real chance to go from worst to first. So if they do that, obviously, Daniel Jones and the Colts are not going to be making the Super Bowl. So, no, I don't see it.
I didn't know you were relatives with, or you were married to the family of the McAfees. I didn't know with all the Colts love.
I don't think he has.
I didn't know that.
I don't think he has tickets. I think McAfee can just walk in.
Oh, okay, all right. Punt his way into the arena.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. No. The answer is no. That's it. Raj, back to you. No. Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce, they're not a winning Super Bowl combination of quarterback and wide receiver. What are we doing here? No chance. No, thank you. Hard pass.
All right, guys. And finally, the reports were over the weekend that the Eagles are looking for a 1 and a 2 for A.J. Brown, kind of piggybacking off of the DJ Moore trade. So 1 and a 2. So I ask, we'll start with you, Bleck. A 1 and a 2 for A.J. Brown is too much, too little, or the right amount?
I think that's too much. I could see kind of maybe a little bit more to sweeten the deal than what Buffalo gave up to land DJ Moore. So if you're saying it's a 2, I don't think a 1 is on the table. I don't think that that's realistic. But if it's a 2 and like a 5th, I can see that, or a 2 and a 6th-round pick in a couple of years, I could see something like that. I don't see a 1. And if you said a 1 and a 2, there's no chance. For A.J. Brown?
No, it's, to me, and I got of course, Josh Graham, who was sitting in for you for 3 days, Chris, while you were gone.
Josh. I was listening to Josh yesterday.
He got to feel he got to witness the fence riding that I do.
Did you behave for him?
I did, yeah.
Okay,
I thought I did, but he got to witness the fence riding that I do.
I like how you called it out, too, Adam. Like, he was like so self-aware of like...
I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
I answer these questions
to me.
Like, I know you do.
Yeah, it depends on the first. The Patriots' first-round pick is not as valuable as another team's first-round pick because it's the 31st pick. So it's the second-round pick that does it for me. That's what makes this deal not worth it. Because if the Patriots trade a first pick this year and a 2027 second, that's not worth it. But if the Patriots are trading this year's first and like 2027 fourth round pick, or maybe even like a fourth round pick, and it turns into like a conditional third if he sets like if he has so many touchdowns or hits like a yardage total or whatever, then we're talking. But a first and a second, no, thank you.
No chance.
But again, it's not the fact that it's a first. It just depends on who the team is for me.
Okay. All right.
Somebody get Abdalla some aloe from all that.
I'm just saying. I said no. I answered the question. It's the second that makes me say a no, not the first. Because people will say it's the first that says no for me. It's the second round pick, not the first round pick.
Sure it is. Yeah. You're walking funny, but sure.
All right, both of you. This is a family. This is a family show. This is a family program.
We're having a great time.
A family program.
Thank you, Raj. We appreciate it. Raj is in Denver. Bleck Abdalla here in Chicago, hanging out with you on Westwood One Sports. We're sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. So we have Malik Willis signing with the Miami Dolphins. Where will Kyler Murray land? We'll talk about that coming up next.
Kenneth Walker is headed to Kansas City. The Super Bowl MVP teams up with Patrick Mahomes and the returning Travis Kelce. With Walker at running back, are the Chiefs now Super Bowl favorites? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Bleck and Abdalla, keeping our eyes on NFL free agency. A lot going on at this moment. The latest is Malik Willis will be playing for the Miami Dolphins. So Malik Willis going to the Dolphins. And of the quarterbacks and the quarterback carousel, the musical chairs on where quarterbacks will land, we're waiting on Aaron Rodgers to decide. We know Daniel Jones will be back with the Indianapolis Colts. Where will Kyler Murray land? It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Where do you think Kyler Murray will land?
I think he's still going to be a Viking. I think that it makes the most sense. I think that it gives them a quick solution for their J.J. McCarthy problem while not, giving up on him completely. If you give Kyler Murray a 2-year deal, because I think quarterbacks that are struggling should be beating down the Vikings' door to go to Kevin O'Connell to kind of rehab their image. We saw what it did for Sam Darnold. We saw what it did for Daniel Jones when he was there for a short period of time. If Kyler Murray wants to rehab his image, go to the Vikings for 1 to 2 years, 1 year with the second-year option, whatever it is. Go there, try to win. They're ready-made to win. J.J. McCarthy can sit, learn for another year, have a quote competition, whatever you want to call it, and then he can start in a year or two. You're not going to miss out and lose J.J. McCarthy just because Kyler Murray is there for a couple years.
So Malik Willis goes to the Dolphins. There are reports that Tua Tagovailoa is expected to sign with the Falcons. We've yet to hear anything on Kyler Murray. Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Abdalla, you love beef. You love big, beefy boys.
I do.
How about this news from Adam Schefter and ESPN? Former Ravens free agent center Tyler Lindenbaum has reached an agreement today on a record deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. Mm-hmm. They are awarding him a 3-year, $81 million deal.
What?
That includes $60 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. Tyler Lindenbaum will be the highest paid offensive lineman in interior offensive lineman in NFL history, as the Las Vegas Raiders just a couple days ago make a trade sending Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens. So then they get 2 first-round picks. They can use those to revamp the offensive line. The Raiders are expected to draft Fernando Mendoza with the number 1 pick, and the number 1 assessment on the offensive line is you got to fix the offensive line for the young quarterback, and Tyler Linderbaum will be signing a record deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. So that's the latest in the NFL the legal tampering window for the NFL free agency started up today at noon Eastern. We've kept our eyes on it for the last 2 hours, and there's a lot going on. Abdalla is not okay with this signing. He threw his headset down. He walked away. He took a walk.
I needed a breath.
He took a lap.
I needed a breath.
Here at the studios.
Million. Guaranteed.
60.
Yeah, 60 million. 20 million guaranteed a year. 60 million guaranteed. 81 million. That's a lot of money for a center.
Are you okay?
No, that's especially
you're not a Raven or a Raiders fan.
No, I understand that, but
what the hell is going on
here? This is
here?
a team that's not going to be good
you're
next.
Acting like
this is a team
the Raiders just shot your puppy.
This is a team that's not going to be good next year. Like, what is Tom? Like, is Tom Brady? Is Tom Brady good at this?
They're looking to fix the offensive line with a young quarterback, which is what you should do.
Not with this much money. Not like this.
Clint Kubiak's going to try and fix the offense.
Draft
That's
and
going to
develop.
be objective number one. They're going to be really bad on defense. They're going to fix the offense. They're going to fix the offensive line. They'll probably use some of these draft picks that they've gotten back from Max Crosby for help on the offensive line, and that's the idea. Is you sign a center, the best available center on the market, $60 million guarantee, 3-year deal.
He's 25 years old, so he could be there for a while. But if he's good, the market's only gonna go up. So you give him $20 million a year now, guaranteed. He's only gonna want more in 3 years.
Well,
you're setting a bad precedent. I don't like this. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Because here's the problem. Here's the problem. Your center is
why you're bothered by
your problem. No,
this?
here's your problem. Your center is your least important position on your offensive line. It's your least important position. It's your least important position for Fernando Mendoza.
Or it's the glue that holds the offensive line together.
It's your least important position.
He's there making calls. He's pointing out blitz
It
packages.
doesn't protect
He's
his
doing
blind
all
side.
that.
It does not. It's not a tackle. It's not a guard. It's your center.
I think you're a little over the top on that.
I'm not. It's the least. Is it more important than any tackle?
I think your left tackle for a quarterback that's right-handed is more important, but I don't have a problem with a center being important.
Is it okay? Should he be your highest paid member of your offensive line?
Well, it depends. If you're able to draft players on the tackle positions, then you're okay paying him that for the next couple of seasons.
I wouldn't
okay,
be.
Can I explain why I'm laughing at you? You're acting like you're talking to a child at the Raiders who asked for a little ice cream before dinner, and you're angry because now if you set the precedent of saying yes once, that now later he's going to want more ice cream before dinner. That's the way you're talking right now.
You're averaging.
What do you mean?
This is
Set a
27.
precedent.
This
What are you talking
This
about?
is averaging $27 million a year.
They have the cap space.
Just because you have it doesn't mean you have to use it like that.
Okay, but if you
spread
want
it around for different offensive linemen.
If you want better players, you have to spend the money.
I understand that. But this is a team that's not going to be good. This is a team that needs other offensive linemen. This was the worst offensive line in the league, and you just gave the most money to the least important position on your offensive line.
I don't know about that. I think you could argue that some of the guards are less important.
No, they're not.
Than a center?
Yeah.
I don't know. A center, especially for a rookie quarterback, I think a center is a big deal because being able to call out the protections, being able to say, hey, this is what's happening on the line. Hey, check out of this. Being able to make those calls for a young rookie quarterback, I think is a big deal.
All I know is that if my team, the Chicago Bears, did this, I would have kept walking, gotten on the elevator, and walked home. I just walked around the studio for a little bit, and I'm not a Raiders fan.
You're free to go.
No. I still got to work. I still have work to do.
Oh,
there's
work.
an hour
This
and
is
10.
work to
There's an
you.
hour. No, this is fun.
I'm
though.
hanging out with my friends.
So do I. So am I. But I'm saying there's an hour and 10 minutes left of the show. If my team had done this, the Chicago Bears, who needed a center,
sure,
because their center decided at 27 years old, I'm good, I'm done. If my team had done this, I would be walking home right now. You see that lake out there? I'd be walking into the lake. I'd get out of the lake.
You can.
No, I'm not going
Go
to.
take a dip.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to take a dip right now. It's cold, probably cold still.
Raj, did you catch that from Abdalla that he has to work
That's
for
not
another
well,
hour?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That's what I
That
heard.
is not what I said. You're putting words in my mouth
just
now.
like
That's
less than an hour ago,
ridiculous.
we were all friends.
That's ridiculous.
I was number one in the
Listen.
friend power rankings.
That's
and now we're
ridiculous.
here.
You are
That's
my heart.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I do
miss
wonder
Josh.
what running backs and centers did to Abdalla. Like, what did they do
Yeah,
to you,
I
man?
know. I mean, he's the visceral reaction and the anger.
Did Olin Kreutz
as
do
if-
something to you as a child?
Olin Kreutz never made
easy.
the most amount of money on
Easy.
the. Actually, I stood behind Olin Kreutz in line at a Sears once when I was getting my car worked on, and I've never been more intimidated in my life.
Easy. He's been known to go after media members before. In
I
this
know, but
city.
Olin's like the nicest guy in the world, though. That's the crazy
You're trying
part.
to suck up now.
No,
You
I've
don't want
talked to
coming-
Olin before.
coming after
Olin's
you.
like the nicest guy in the world, to me at least. Maybe
So-
not to other people, but
So the news right now from ESPN, the Ravens, so former Ravens free agent center Tyler Lindenbaum has reached an agreement today on a record deal with the Las Vegas Raiders, who are giving him a 3-year, $81 million deal that includes $60 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. And Abdalla doesn't like this deal because he thinks it sets a bad precedent, because in 3 years, Lindenbaum will come back asking for more
No,
cash.
I don't care about
That's
that.
what free agency
no,
is, Abdalla.
I understand that. That's not what I was. I don't care
Sure.
about that. What I care
Right.
about is you don't need to make this move. You need to sign other offensive linemen, like the Raiders.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
You right, Abdalla?
Yeah.
You ready? Hour 3?
I'm great.
Here we go. Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can also listen to us on SiriusXM Channel 375. All of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from Chicago. We're on the air until 3 Eastern, then we'll hand it off to Jim Rome right here on Westwood One Sports. You can call the show today at 310-840-4910, or you can text us at that same number, 310-840-4910. The legal tampering period in the NFL has started for free agency. It kicked off at noon Eastern time, so 2 hours ago. And we have lots of information to update you on and lots going on around the National Football League. There's also storylines that kind of started off early this morning. The Dolphins releasing Tua Tagovailoa, at least the plan to when the new league starts. The fact that the Packers traded Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys. We have a lot going on in what some of the big items that have taken place since free agency has kicked off. Malik Willis, quarterback from the Packers, backup quarterback, has reached an agreement with the Miami Dolphins. So he will be a Dolphins starting quarterback moving forward. We had Michael Pittman getting traded from the Colts to the Steelers. Alec Pierce re-signing with the Colts. Lots of movement in the NFL and free agency to get started here in the first 2 hours.
Yeah, and the Raiders have signed Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum to a record deal. It averages out to about $27 million per year. It sets a new market for centers. He is presumably going to be protecting quarterback Fernando Mendoza. They also released Geno Smith last week, so now they definitely need to be drafting somebody or signing somebody. Everybody presumes it's going to be Fernando Mendoza in a couple months here when we get to the, or about a month here or so, when we get to the NFL draft. So they had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. They needed to revamp that, and they start with right now signing Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum, who wanted a bunch of money, and he wanted over $25 million a year, and that's what he got. He got an average of, now the guarantees are about 20 a year, but he can get up to 27 a year in incentives and all that stuff. And there's some other moves as well, like you mentioned.
And you had a major problem with this 10 minutes ago when we found out the information. And I feel like you're a bit off kilter now.
No, I'm not.
Because of this signing of a center to the Raiders. And a part of the objective here for the Las Vegas Raiders is you want to build up your offensive line. You are going to the Raiders will use the number 1 pick on Fernando Mendoza. He's going to be the number 1 pick in this year's NFL draft. Can't wait to get there. It's in Pittsburgh. It should be great to see the sights and sounds and to see the first round take place. And Mendoza is going to be the name called first by Roger Goodell, selected to the Raiders. Objective number 1 for this offseason for the Raiders is to fix the offensive line so your rookie quarterback isn't walking into a mess. You have the new head coach, Clint Kubiak. He's going to kind of get everything settled there. You get Lindenbaum in there as center. Yes, it's a lot of money, but the Raiders had the most cap space coming into free agency today. So spend it. Get a center. Get things locked in. You get the 2 first-round picks back for the Max Crosby deal. Rework the offensive line so you're set up for the future, and you're giving Mendoza the best chance possible to have a decent rookie season. A part of what was really difficult for Cam Ward last year was half the time he was running around for his life. And when you have a rookie quarterback running around for his life, A, they're going to get hit more. B, you might get injured. You might not be on the field as much. And C, you're not going to have a lot of success running around getting hit the way that Cam Ward did. And I thought he was pretty decent going through last season. The Raiders are going to try and set up Mendoza to not have to deal with that. And so that's why you go spend that money. You've like lost it here on the show because of this signing.
No, it's fine. I'm just glad that it didn't
no,
say.
It's fine. Now you're going to move on.
I'm just glad it didn't say Chicago Bears. As you and I broadcast out of the great city, I can see the lake from here, the great city of Chicago. I'm just glad it didn't say Chicago Bears have signed Tyler Linderbaum to that insane contract, because if they did, that's a ridiculous use of cap space for them. The Raiders aren't doing any winning, so whatever. Take your money, show it, and throw it. You're in Vegas, so that's what people do there. And I don't think Tom Brady's very good at this anyway. So if that's what he wants to do with his ownership of his team, go right ahead. And I think that when it comes down to it, though, when it's time to compete, you're going to be looking, depending on how this contract is structured and cap hits and all that kind of stuff, you're going to want that money to spend on premier positions. And you might not have it because of this deal. They might not be ready to compete in 3 years. Like, this might be a developmental move. You're signing him for 3 years because you want him there for the 3 years it takes to develop Fernando Mendoza. And then in 3 years, you're just going to let him walk and you're going to develop a center. And that's fine if that's the move. And then you're just going to develop somebody in the meantime. And in 2 years, you'll draft a center and you'll just use him to protect Fernando Mendoza. And you can spend your money that way. If that's the move, then fine. It's okay. But I would be using, if you want to win, then I would be using my cap space on more premier positions than center. I'd be using it on tackles, edge rushers, wide receivers, all that stuff, not centers.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to call the show, you can call us at 310-840-4910. You can text the show at 310-840-4910. You can also tweet Bleck and Abdalla. David tweeted both of us. He said, here's a live look of Adam Abdalla after the Ravens center signs with the Raiders for a record deal. And it's a gif of an old man at a fishing pond just walking into the water, all the way submerged under the water, wearing his fishing hat, full clothes, jeans, button-down T-shirt. The old man at the fishing pond just walking into the pond because of the signing. That's the gift that was just sent. Abdalla's reaction 10 minutes ago of finding out about Lindenbaum signing with the Raiders.
That
for a
would have been me
deal.
If the Bears signed him. That's because that's my team, and I'm more emotional about my team, obviously. The Raiders. So I just took a little lap around the studio here.
Yeah, you did.
I just took a little lap around the studio.
You had
That's
a breather.
Fine. Yeah,
you took a breather.
Yeah.
All right. Some other big news from today with NFL free agency. The legal tampering window starting up today at noon Eastern. The Commanders re-signed Laramie Tunsil to 2 years, $60 million. We have the Chiefs signing former Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker, 3-year, $45 million deal, a base of $14.3 million per season. I mentioned the Alex Pierce re-signing with the Colts. The Patriots signed Ravens defensive lineman Draymond Jones, 3 years, $39 million. Jalen Phillips, the Eagles edge rusher, signs with the Panthers for 4 years, $120 million. Michael Pittman was traded from the Colts to the Steelers, and Pittman also got new cash from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you're looking at the two wideouts for Aaron Rodgers, if he plans on returning to Pittsburgh, you have DK Metcalf on one side, you have Michael Pittman on the other side. That's pretty good. And we also discussed at the top here of this hour that the Dolphins have signed Malik Willis to a 3-year, $67 million deal with $45 million guaranteed for Malik Willis. And you and I were discussing this. When you look at Kyler Murray in the situation in front of him, hearing that Tua is being released and he has interest in Atlanta, you see Malik Willis go to Miami, and you look around the NFL for teams that need a quarterback, it really seems like it will make a lot of sense. If Kyler Murray ends up in Minnesota with the Vikings, that seems to me to be the best landing spot for Kyler. It's something we've talked about here on the show for the last couple of weeks.
And I think that if he goes there, you automatically are assuming that J.J. McCarthy is going to either take a year off, take 2 years off, whatever it is, because in that case, Kyler Murray is a better quarterback. He has more talent than J.J. McCarthy. He has the potential to have more talent. And you can say, well, look at the last few years and whatever. Yeah, look at how Sam Darnold was playing. Look at how Daniel Jones was playing. I've seen what head coach Kevin O'Connell can do to quarterbacks. Look at what he did to Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. And then they go on. A GM was fired because Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah was fired because they let Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones leave after Kevin O'Connell, quote, fixed them. And so if Kyler Murray gets in the building and has that great defense that's been top 5 the last few years, has Justin Jefferson as a weapon, he's going to play better than J.J. McCarthy. Now, it's a fine line to walk, and if you're the Vikings, you have to figure out what you want to do. Do you sit J.J. McCarthy for a year or 2 years? Do you completely just say, hey, you're going to be our backup and that's it moving forward? Do you find a trade partner and see if somebody wants to try to take their hand at rehabbing, J.J. McCarthy? Because if I was a quarterback and I needed to rehab my image, I would be going to Kevin O'Connell or Kyle Shanahan. And that's the option that Kyler Murray has. He can go to the Vikings, but he could also go to a higher bidder. If they want to sign him, they can. He could go to another team that is in need of a quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers decides he doesn't want to play, then Kyler Murray could call up the Steelers and say, hey, you need a quarterback. What are you going to do? Malik Willis was an option for the Steelers. Now he's not, because he's going to be a Dolphin, which leads me even more to believe that the Steelers know, and Malik Willis somehow knows, that Aaron Rodgers is going back to the Steelers. Because the Steelers were also an option for either Kyler Murray or Malik Willis if Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to go back to the Steelers.
No, you're right on that. And I think that's where we keep our eyes on the Kyler Murray situation. I haven't seen any conversation about Kyler Murray to this point today. I do have some more information. This comes from ESPN. Adam Schefter saying that former Giants wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson has reached an agreement with the Tennessee Titans. He will sign a 4-year, $78 million deal. That includes 38 guaranteed. So Robinson now goes to the Tennessee Titans, where he was with Brian Daboll previously with the Giants. And then also a running back on the move. The Saints are giving Travis Etienne a 4-year, $52 million deal. So Jags running back Travis Etienne will be signing with the New Orleans Saints. So a lot of moves taking place. Some of the big names, though, are still out there. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I've seen nothing on Kyler Murray. I've seen nothing on Trey Hendrickson. We've seen nothing as far as rumors go with the possible movement with A.J. Brown. So there's some big fish still out there that to keep your eyes on with all of this. And then there's obviously some quarterbacks that are of the backup variety, like Geno Smith. Geno Smith is a good backup quarterback. There's a bunch of backups kind of all around the league that those players have yet to settle in places either. And I think that's something to keep our eyes on as we kind of go forward as free agency started up today. It's the legal tampering period. Wednesday at 4 Eastern is when teams can officially announce their signings. So today's the day you find out all the information. And then on Wednesday, when you, in air quotes, officially can sign, that's the day the teams can announce the different players going from place to place around the NFL. So that's the latest news I've seen to this point here on Bleck Abdalla on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. If you want to join us, you can call us at 310-840-4910.
And I think that when we look at what we're waiting for here, where Trey Hendrickson could go, the Cowboys did clear more money today. They've been clearing money left and right. That's what they've been restructuring contracts. First it was Dak, then it was CeeDee Lamb. They've been restructuring contracts left and right, and they were trying to get Max Crosby. That was the report. The Patriots were involved in the Max Crosby deal. The Bears were involved in the Max Crosby deal. And obviously, he goes to the Ravens. In that deal, they trade 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby. And now the Cowboys with Trey Hendrickson, are they going to be the ones that end up signing him? There was smoke around him and the Indianapolis Colts because Lou Anarumo, is there. He could go back because he's got familiarity with him. But it seems like the Cowboys have been clearing a lot of this space. They were over the cap, so they needed to do that for something anyway, just to get under the cap. But now they've cleared a ton of space to free up to do something.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're going to take a run at Trey Hendrickson, because if they do that, they wouldn't have to trade, obviously, any picks because they missed out on Max Crosby. But now they get to sign a high-profile defensive end, and they can then compete with the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East, and they can make a run at that division title again.
Yeah, and I think Trey Hendrickson is definitely the name to kind of watch here because we can kind of go through the list, and we've talked about it here on the program for the last couple of weeks. As far as teams that need an edge rusher, you could almost call out half of the league. Now, a few teams have signed guys who are edge rushers, right? Like Carolina. You can take them off the list. Jalen Phillips signs with the Carolina Panthers, so he's locked in. Okay, you can take the Ravens off the list, right? They make the trade for Max Crosby. But there's a bunch of teams that have a chance to go after a Super Bowl this season that are on the list of teams where an edge rusher could be needed. San Francisco, Kansas City, Chicago. There are Indianapolis is another team. There's a ton of teams that could use someone like Trey Hendrickson. So I'm guessing the reason we have yet to hear anything is because he's taking the pitches from all of these teams on the best possible situation, right? It's just cash. You don't have to give up draft picks. You have to give up any of that stuff. And to this point, in the last couple of years, I know last year wasn't quite that, but if you go back 2 and 3 and 4 years ago, Trey Hendrickson's one of the most productive edge rushers in all of football based on the availability and when he's healthy. So I think he is one of the players outside of the quarterbacks. That's probably one of the big names that will fall that's left standing here in free agency.
I'm assuming it'll happen soon, but if there is a holdup, I'm wondering if it could be because of the injury. Like this, it's a core muscle injury. He is an older player. He's going to be 30. So I'm wondering if teams want to get their medical staff to look at him to see how he's responding. He has said he is ahead of schedule. He has said that he's going to be ready for the start of for training camp, for all that good stuff, that he's going to be ready to go to play. But as an older player, I can understand if you're going to make a $30 million a year investment on a 30-year-old player, that you want to kind of get a look at the player first before you make that kind of investment and not just say, hey, are you healthy, before you make that kind of deal.
Do you want to collect yourself before I give you the next bit of NFL news? Do you want to make sure you're all set?
Did someone give a kicker $20 million a year?
No, the Raiders have agreed to terms. This is from ESPN. The Raiders have agreed to terms with wide receiver Jalen Naylor. 3 years, $35 million, including $23 million guaranteed for the wideout joining the Raiders. Okay. So they're adding to the mix offensively. Abdalla, are you okay with the Raiders spending more of their cash that they have available to them?
Yeah, a position of need, a weapon for Fernando Mendoza. Who'da thunk it?
Okay.
Who'da thunk it?
Just want to make sure that you're okay with a signing like that. Diane Rossini from The Athletic also adds that the Vikings wanted to keep Naylor. The Patriots and the Broncos also showed interest. And you and I have talked about the Patriots and the Broncos as possible trade destinations for A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I think that they could make sense. Obviously, A.J. Brown has the connection to Vrabel. It would make sense because the Patriots have the 31st overall pick. To me, that's a pick worth giving up because you have it's such a low pick that if you're going to be drafting a wide receiver there, I don't know if that wide receiver is going to put up the same type of production as A.J. Brown. Obviously, that receiver is going to be cheaper, younger. You can re-sign them. You have the fifth-year option. All of that stuff is going to be in the younger wide receiver's favor, but the known is A.J. Brown. We know he's 1,000-yard guy. We know the production's there. If Drake May has another MVP caliber season, A.J. Brown can only be better than he was with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. So if he does that, it makes more sense. As far as the Broncos go, Bo Nix had a decent season. I think he's only going to get better with Sean Payton. So if he's going to take that next step with number one wide receiver, I don't know why he couldn't do it with A.J. Brown. They have a ton of cap space, so they could easily absorb the money. So they just have to be willing to part with a number one pick. Their pick is a little bit higher. It's not horribly higher, but you could easily part with any of these teams that have lower picks in the late 20s, early 30s. Why wouldn't you part with a pick like that over drafting a wide receiver? Because that's so unknown over what is known in A.J. Brown.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, updating you on the latest in NFL free agency. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they've spent today, and I'll tell you why. That doesn't make them any closer to winning another Super Bowl. I'll tell you about that coming up next.
How about them Cowboys? After restructuring Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's contracts, Dallas is loaded with nearly $70 million in cap space. Who will Jerry Jones look to sign to fix the league's worst defense? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
All right, earlier in free agency, Travis Kelce is reportedly going to stay with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs also spent money on Kenneth Walker, giving the running back from the Seahawks, the Super Bowl MVP, some cash. So he'll be in the mix for the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward. Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback. Kenneth Walker, the running back. Rashid Rice, Juju Smith-Schuster, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown are your wide receivers. Travis Kelce, tight end, back in the mix. They got a decent offensive line. Abdalla, with these moves that the Chiefs have made today, I do not believe the Kansas City Chiefs are any closer to winning a championship than they were before today started. Spending money on a running back who can't catch out the backfield, I don't think will get it done for Kansas City as the lead back, and you're spending a lot of money in that spot. And Travis Kelce coming back to the Chiefs makes sense for both sides, but that's essentially the depth of the moves that we've seen from Kansas City to this point today. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports.
Yeah, they were 22nd in yards allowed last year, so picking up a running back doesn't help your defense to me. And I know it helps. Picking up a good running back helps your offense when you're trying to grind out games and help your quarterback. And I know that when you're trying to help a quarterback who's coming off of an injury and alleviate some of the pressure off of your quarterback, but we're talking about Patrick Mahomes here. This isn't like a young quarterback we're talking about. This isn't the Raiders and Fernando Mendoza. This is Patrick Mahomes. And I also think that when we talk about Kenneth Walker, I keep going back to the quote I heard during the Super Bowl. He can't catch and he can't block, but he sure can run. What else can he do? If you're paying the dude that much money, he needs to be able to do other things. Now, maybe, look, blocking to me is all want, right? You can change that. Catching, you might not be able to change. Dude can't catch, can't catch. That might not be something you can learn. But blocking is all effort. And he might go to the Chiefs, and they might change that, and that might be a completely different animal when he gets to that team. But he was on a Super Bowl caliber. I mean, they won the Super Bowl, and he still wasn't blocking well. So maybe this changes, but I just think that spending that much money for that running back, you would think that a championship caliber team would spend that money wiser if they were going for it, which leads me to believe that this team really... I'm not saying that the Chiefs are taking a year off, but they're just not making moves to try to take advantage of every year that, and I know it's not, quarterbacks play till they're like 45 now, but Andy Reid is getting up there.
Oh, no.
He is.
Don't do that to Andy Reid. Let him coach forever.
I would
He and
love
Mahomes for the next 20 years.
I would love to see Andy Reid coach forever, but he's about to turn 68 years old.
Yeah, it's you know what it is? It's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is essentially Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Right? Like
That's what you're watching.
Scorsese's a little bit older, but then he finds his prodigy child halfway through his career.
He's just going to keep
He's going to
directing.
ride it out. Here we go. Here's another film, Marty and Leo. Here we go.
And they're a little too long.
Yeah, a little too long. But that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, yes, we're going to see this for a few more years. I don't think Andy Reid is leaving anytime soon.
I understand that, but
You're trying to get him to retire.
I'm not, but giving up.
It's not right.
But I think they're fine this year drafting young players, developing those young players, and kind of resetting their financials. They cleared a bunch of cap space with Mahomes. They've obviously spent some of that money with Kenneth Walker here, and developing players, resetting their financials, and going all in. We'll see them make some heavy, splashy moves next season and really build that defense and go for it next year. Because right now, in that division, I still think the Broncos are better. I think depending on what the Chargers do on their offensive line, the Chargers can be better. I think they're third place in their division right now. I don't think they have a chance to win the AFC, let alone their division.
I agree with you, and that's why I wanted to talk about this here in this spot. If you want to join us, you can call us at 310-840-4910. You can text the same number and give us your thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs here in the offseason as they head towards free agency in the NFL draft. I agree with you, Adam, and Raj asked us the question in one-on-one an hour ago, asking about the AFC West. The moves today from the Kansas City Chiefs, does that put them ahead of the two teams in front of them in the standings from this past season? The Chargers, they finished the season 11-6. The Broncos finished the season at 14-3. The Broncos got to the AFC Championship game. And I don't think the moves that the Chiefs have made today put them ahead of either of those teams in their division. And then if you kind of take a 30,000 view from the AFC and you look at the rest of the conference, I don't know, man. When I look at the conference, you and I started today's show reacting to the move from the Baltimore Ravens making the trade for Max Crosby. I agree with your assessment. You push back on my thought that the Ravens are the number one team in the conference by saying Buffalo is a team that deserves my attention. I agree with you. Buffalo and Baltimore are going to be the two best teams in the conference. And then there's a couple of teams with younger quarterbacks who got pretty far last season that I think have a right to say that they're going to be in the mix next season, and that's New England and Denver. And then as we continue to go on in the rest of the conference, neither of us today have mentioned the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had a really nice season, 13-4 last year. They lost the playoff game against the Bills, hosting it at home in the wild card round, but Trevor Lawrence, another year in that system with Liam Cohen. I'm expecting Lawrence to get even better than he was this past season. And we just had the news that Travis Etienne is signing with the Saints. So they'll have an opening there for running back. But when you look at the rest of the conference, Houston, what's up with the Texans? Can they fix C.J. Stroud? Their defense is a championship level defense. Can they fix their quarterback? And then when you get back to, we don't know the answer with Pittsburgh and whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to play at this moment. I'm guessing, I think you're guessing as well, that he's going to play, and he will play for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. They made a big move today trading for Michael Pittman. So they've got two stud wide receivers. There's a lot of teams in the AFC that are all improving, and I could see fighting for the conference title next season. And that's before we get to the Kansas City Chiefs. And quite honestly, the only reason the Kansas City Chiefs are in that conversation for me is because they have Patrick Mahomes. And they've done it before.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's not a lot that I would have faith in saying that they're going to win the AFC other than resorting back to, well, they have Patrick Mahomes. They have Andy Reid. We've seen them win Super Bowls before. I don't know. It kind of feels like to me that the Eagles 2 years ago kicked the snot out of the Chiefs, and they haven't been the same team since they got bulldozed in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Well, they have an old tight end. They have an overpaid running back. They have an aging defensive line. Not that Chris Jones is bad, but they have, I mean, they gave up they They had the 22nd most yards in the NFL. That's what they gave up last year. So how bad is their defensive line and the rest of that defense? And so when you look at it, I'm never going to count them out until I look at the standings and I see the little E next to their name, right? I'm never going to count them out. But you're right. Going through where I stack the division, to me, they're behind a lot of teams. And they're right now, for me, behind 2 teams in their division. They're still ahead of the Raiders, but the Raiders have a new coaching staff. They're breaking in a rookie quarterback, and they just traded away their best player. They just traded away Max Crosby. So, of course, they're going to be better than the Raiders, but the Raiders are so far below the rest of the teams in that division, it's laughable. So when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, they're still below the Chargers and the Broncos.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We have a former Super Bowl champion, a future Hall of Famer on the move. Mike Evans. This is per The Athletic and Diana Rossini. Wide receiver Mike Evans is signing with the San Francisco 49ers. That is a huge move. That's a big deal. The 49ers land Mike Evans to be their number 1 wide receiver. That's big for Brock Purdy and the 49ers.
There goes his ACL.
Oh, come on, Abdalla. Don't hurt him.
What? You've got the substation.
No,
substation.
don't do that.
Substation.
He spent all his time in Florida. He's okay.
Substation.
The Tampa area.
Substation.
He's been okay. Don't substation me.
Substation.
Don't go higher pitch Seinfeld substation on me. Oh, I don't want to be a substation.
Substation.
Don't do that to me.
No, this is huge. He's a catch machine. Like you said, he's a future Hall of Famer. There were a bunch of teams that you and I talked about that would love Mike Evans. I circled the New England Patriots. Everybody wants A.J. Brown on the New England Patriots. I said Mike Evans would be the perfect receiver for Drake May and the New England Patriots, or the perfect receiver for Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. But they go out and the 49ers get Mike Evans, and he's going to help out Brock Purdy. He's going to be great in that Kyle Shanahan offense. And that offense is absolutely loaded now with Mike Evans. He's coming off of an injury. He's older, 13th season, but whatever. That's fine. He still plays when he's out there. He still plays great.
Don't put me near the substation.
All right. But he's older. Substation.
Mike Evans signing with the San Francisco 49ers. You can text the show at 310-840-4910. A texter from the 773 says that don't be too quick to announce Malik Willis as the starting quarterback in Miami. It's now Ewer's show, and it's his job to lose. Don't be surprised if he's the game 1 starter when they play and open this season. I disagree with that.
How much money did they give Malik
Willis? Malik Willis is going to be the number 1 starter. Also from the 209, the text says the move for the Raiders getting Lindenbaum, which Abdalla was very upset about. This texter points out that this move was the perfect move for the Raiders. They had to overpay for him, and Clint Kubiak has stated over and over that the center position is one of the most important on the offense. They're the ones calling out the protections, and it helps set up Mendoza. What do you think of that?
I think that Tom Brady should stop texting our show.
Listen, if Tom Brady's texting our show just from a random number in Las Vegas, that would be outstanding. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We go to Mitchell in New Jersey with Bleck Abdalla. What's up, Mitchell?
How you guys doing? Thanks for taking my call. Good show, by the way.
Thanks, man. What's going on?
I wish the Rays had signed Evans, but with that extra first-round pick in the top 15, and they got $100 million to spend, I think they could really maybe triple their win total, which will only be to 9. And I like Mendoza. I think he could be better than Chad Pennington. He's got a good arm.
I hope he's better than Chad Pennington.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you for the.
Come on, Mitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope the number 1 pick would be better than Chad Pennington. I mean, come on. Let's set the bar a little bit higher for Fernando Mendoza. I mean, I've heard Matt Ryan.
Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate the phone call. Call again, my man.
I've heard Jared Goff. I've heard a lot of comps. Chad Pennington is not one I would hope for Fernando Mendoza. I mean, if you're a Chiefs fan or a Chargers fan or a Broncos fan, maybe then you're looking at Chad Pennington.
But I mean, he had a decent time, a nice little run. Paddington had.
Come on.
Nice little run. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join us, like Mitchell just did, at 310-840-4910, you can also text that same number. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We have our eyes on all of the free agency moves taking place today around the National Football League. We will tell you which move was the best coming up next.
This is Westwood. One of the offseason's biggest dominoes has fallen. Max Crosby traded to the Baltimore Ravens. Who will the next star on the move be? And where is he heading? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Jim Rome coming up in 16 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. It's Bleck and Abdalla, noon to 3 Eastern each and every day. Make sure you check out the podcast of today's show on Apple, Spotify, and Odyssey. You can also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. New content posted daily. Plus, you can watch our live stream each and every day right there on YouTube. Bleck and Abdalla Show is the new page. Make sure you like and subscribe to that channel. And also thank you to Raj and Laura for producing today's show. Coming up next here on Westwood One Sports, Jim Rome following Bleck and Abdalla. So my favorite move so far of free agency to this point, Abdalla, I'm going to go with Jalen Phillips signing with the Panthers. 4 years, $121 million. The edge rusher to Carolina. Carolina surprised people last year winning their division and then, having a challenging game against the Rams in the first round of the playoffs. I like what they're building down there in Carolina. So I'm going to go Phillips with the Panthers as my favorite pick so far of everything we've seen in free agency to date here today.
Okay. I tend to agree with you that that's going to be the one that improves the team the most, but I don't think that team is going to be good enough to really do anything. That team kind of backed into the playoffs.
It's okay. They were there.
I understand. Yes, I understand. I understand that they were there. I'm going to go with one that I think is a trade. I don't know if it's a side. Can I do a trade? Does that count?
Yeah, you can, because I almost went with the trade too. So go ahead.
Pittman?
Yeah,
it's going to be because they
technically
technically re-signed him and gave him a new deal. So I'm going to go with the trade of the Colts trading wide receiver Michael Pittman to the Steelers. The Steelers then gave him new money. That's the one I'm going to go with. We all presume it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. If not, it would have to be Kyler Murray. He's the next best quarterback on the market, with Malik Willis, who is pretty much unknown, signing with the Miami Dolphins. So whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, I think, is better. So if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, he's got a new weapon in Michael Pittman. I think that's better. You still have Max Crosby now for the Ravens on the other side. You got to play him twice. And now I do think that sets the Steelers up better than Jalen Phillips going to the Panthers.
Yeah, I would say that Pittman to the Steelers is a big deal. I agree with you. It was going to be one of those two for my selection for the best move we've seen to this point today. And then I would say third on the list would be Mike Evans going to San Francisco.
That was close for me.
Which Mike Evans signing with the 49ers was just announced just moments ago. And that's going to be a big deal for the San Francisco 49ers. That team is ready to compete for a championship. And to have some stability of a number one wide receiver, a possession guy, a guy that can go up and get it for Brock Purdy, I just think that move makes so much sense for Mike Evans going to the 49ers.
And the 49ers are giving Mike Evans a 3-year, $60 million deal, according to Adam Schefter. So $20 million a year. We don't know what the guarantees are yet for Mike Evans. And Brock Purdy, like you said, has another weapon, should be pretty good for them. And Kyle Shanahan has another weapon for him to plan out that offense. I do still think that the most impactful one is the one that we haven't seen yet. Max Crosby was traded to the Ravens. We don't know where Trey Hendrickson is going to end up yet. If he ends up with the Cowboys, as much as we've seen leave the Eagles, and we presume that A.J. Brown is also going to leave the Eagles at a certain point. They've gotten calls on Jalen Carter. He could be leaving the Eagles, the defensive tackle. As much as they're losing, if the Cowboys find a way to sign Trey Hendrickson, that could still end up being the most impactful move that we see.
Oh, yeah, and it would make a lot of sense as well. And I think that's where Dallas is lurking in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've restructured so much. They've got some cap space. We'll see what the Cowboys can do. But the 49ers being able to sign Mike Evans, that's a big deal. And that's definitely notable and definitely one of the bigger and better moves that I've seen today. The 3 years, $60 million to Mike Evans with the 49ers. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I do want to mention there are a couple of notes with the Chicago Bears. They have just signed Devin Bush to a 3-year contract for $30 million. The former Browns linebacker, Devin Bush, is signing with the Chicago Bears. And then we saw earlier today the Seahawks safety, Kobe Bryant, is signing with the Chicago Bears. So 2 defensive moves, Kobe Bryant and then Devin Bush, both signing with the Chicago Bears. Kobe Bryant is a stud.
Yeah.
He is a very good player, one of the best safeties in pass play, and also he had a couple interceptions, forced fumbles last year. A stud on that Seahawks defense that was outstanding last year, winning the Super Bowl. So Kobe Bryant in with the Chicago Bears, Devin Bush in with the Chicago Bears, and there is also news from ESPN today saying that the Chicago Bears met the offer of 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby that the Ravens put on the table. The difference was that the Ravens' first-round pick this season is a better first-round pick than the Chicago Bears at 25. So the Raiders went with the Ravens, and the Bears were and this was the ESPN report today, the Bears were unwilling to go over that asking price of 2 first-round picks. And as a Chicago Bears fan that I am, that you are sitting here in the city of Chicago, I'm okay with that.
Good.
I'm glad that they checked in.
Good.
I'm glad that they were there, but I am also glad that they didn't give up 2 first-round picks or more for Max Crosby.
Yeah, because I said it with the Ravens. We were talking about it earlier. I still think they gave up too much. Now, if they win a Super Bowl this year or next year, no one's going to think it's too much. You and I will eat our words. It's not too much. You win a Super Bowl, it's all worth it. It's worth it. No. It's worth it.
It is. For them in their situation,
it's worth
for the
it.
Baltimore Ravens, they are going for it.
It's
this
absolutely
season
worth it.
And next season.
And if the Bears would have done it and they would have won a Super Bowl this year, next year, the year after, it's worth it because Caleb Williams is still on his rookie contract. You can absorb the contract, and it's absolutely worth it. If they would have gone over the 2 first-round picks and added a second-round pick or whatever it is, that's too much because then you're talking about mortgaging your future and then some. 2 first-round picks, I think, is a lot. I took the Bears out of this deal as soon as DJ Moore was traded to the Buffalo Bills because if they wanted a player and the rumor was that they wanted a first and a player or 2 firsts and a player, as soon as DJ Moore was traded to the Bills, I took the Bears out of this because that was that player. And then as soon as Drew Dahlman, their center, decided to retire, then absolutely they're out of it because now you have to use some of that money to either draft a center, you have to use some of that money because you're not getting all of Drew Dahlman's money back. He's still getting his signing bonus. So you have to use some of that money to sign a center. And also, all the moves that the Bears have made today, they still have to replace some of their safeties. They still have to replace some of their line. But like they have a lot of moves that they need to make still in free agency and re-sign some of their own guys. So the fact that they were in on it is good, but I'm glad that their GM, Ryan Poles, decided to say, thanks, but no thanks. That's too rich for our blood.
Some teams that have a lot of cap space that we haven't really seen a lot of big-time moves from so far today. The Chargers, the Jets, the Seahawks, the Cardinals. I haven't seen the Cardinals do anything today.
Good.
To this point. So we'll keep our eyes, free agency taking place starting up today. But, the teams will announce the signings on Wednesday at 4 Eastern, and this will continue on today. And Jim Rome will have the latest here on Westwood One Sports. A couple other items that caught my eye throughout the day, and we mentioned the signings we like. How about the ones we don't like? I know there's definitely one for me. I think there's one for Abdalla as well. I'll lead you off with the Dolphins signing Malik Willis. 3 years, $67 million, 45 of that being guaranteed. This is not going to work out. Malik Willis isn't a starting level quarterback in the NFL. He's a very good backup. You are now giving starter level money, high starter level money to Malik Willis to be your quarterback for the next couple of seasons. I don't think that's going to work for the Miami Dolphins. And Abdal, shock us all with the signing you dislike the most. Give us something before we hand it off to Jim Rome.
It's actually Malik Willis is the one I dislike.
What about the center?
No.
What about the Raiders?
No, because I've seen the money. I've seen the money from Malik Willis. He is getting $21.5 million guaranteed next year. That's the problem. Next year has the same amount of guaranteed money as this year. They needed to structure that where he's only getting $5 or $10 million guaranteed next year, and they can move on, assuming that they draft their next quarterback.
They can't because they're spending $99 million to get Tua Tagovailoa off the roster.
Exactly. They
don't have the cash to do that.
They should have cut him today. All of it today, and not spread it out over 2 years.
Well, who has $99 million?
Find it.
In the pocket.
It's Miami. Find it.
Stephen Ross?
It's under a nightclub somewhere. Sell a yacht or two. I don't know. It's Miami. They got it.
I thought you were going to go with the Raiders signing Tyler Lindenbaum, 3 years, $81 million, to the richest interior lineman contract in NFL history.
But they have the money. The Dolphins are paying 2 quarterbacks at the same time. I can't argue with the Raiders as an actual signing because they have the money. The Dolphins don't have it. They're paying 2 quarterbacks at the same time for 2 years. I don't like the Willis deal the most because of the second year of the money. If it was like $10 million, I'd be like, okay, fine, whatever. But it's too much money in the second year. It just is. Because you assume they're going to draft Arch Manning or Dante Moore or something like that.
I would think, but it is possible that someone like Malik Willis, you have start some games at the start of next season. I disagree with that thought process. If I'm drafting a quarterback with my first pick in the NFL draft, I want that kid starting immediately because you got to figure out if he can sink or swim. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So we will keep you updated with NFL free agency tomorrow when we're back from noon to 3 Eastern right here on Westwood One Sports. Jim Rome and the Jim Rome Show has the rest of the afternoon.
This is Westwood One Sports.